clip position. Now this, okay, Hinderer's got two-way, and that's because some people in some tactical schools, for their skills, they prefer, like if you read, I think it was, I don't know if it's the Fox Combative Edge, that guy Rob, but some people prefer tip down, because when you pull it out of your pocket, you pull it out and your hands are right there, close to the pivot, close to this area to activate that, to push that. Other people prefer the tip down because when you pull it out, well, there's different reasons why. The main thing is on the ZT you get four-way clip, very versatile, like a Spyderco, which is really nice. And what they do is they make a deep pocket. Now, deep pocket is good if you don't want it to fall out and if you don't want your knife to look like a knife. To me that's kind of funky. Please, note to people. Please don't keep complaining about that you want your knife to be deep pocket, because then every dang knife out there will be deep pocket, and all the people who, I can't explain it. It's like, then there won't be any knives that are done, I would say, right, done tactically. I mean, don't ruin it for everyone just because, majority rules. So majority of people, please understand, there's a difference between each one. Deep pocket means, yeah, it's discreet and it's going to stay in your pocket, okay? But when it's a tactical knife, you want some of that handle to be sticking out because you want something to hold and grip to pull out. Some people, they have that specifically, these dents right here to grip that pot clip with their finger, so that when you pull it out, you can hold it, or this to help you pull it out. And you need something to pull out. I mean, if it's just like my Sage 2, and you got this deep, slippery pocket, deep pocket carry, slippery pocket clip, you can't pull it out. There's nothing to pull. You're just trying to touch a pocket clip. That's the only grip you have in that. It's not good for tactical. So understand that there's that difference. So when you're looking at like a tactical knife, the Hinderer's pocket clip is good. I mean, you push down the pocket clip, it doesn't affect it. But like I already told you, I can push down my Tazula pocket clip. It's at the base of the lock bar. It doesn't push down the lock bar and stop my knife from opening. I mean, that would be an oversight. That'd be kind of silly, I think, of a knife maker. And they definitely, you got to give these knife makers, designers, much more credit than that. Now the same thing as this. You see, some sticks out. This is a tactical folder. Now, four-way though is a good option. Left, right hand. I mean, that's great. Now, people complain a lot about oh, it's only for the right-handed. Depending on the design of the knife, it can only be left-handed, or it can only be right-handed. But for example, on these knives, when you put it in your pocket, if it has a way for you to open it with these fingers, if it has a way that's easy to open, it doesn't matter if it's only a right pocket right pocket clip carry, right side pocket, because what I do is I carry it in my left pocket high up towards my pelvis, which doesn't move as much as my leg and jumble around. And then this will get into the tactical video discussion. I think just it'll depend on the individual. If I had the zero tolerance right now with me, I'd probably carry a tip down. That's going to be a little tough, especially since there is that flipper. I don't know if that's a good idea, but carrying it tip down, there's a lot of grip here, so I mean it's debatable. Do I prefer the Hinderer clip? Yeah, I'll prefer the Hinderer clip, just because it's in a spot that allows me to at least pull out and have more hold on the knife, and, So, clip position, four-way, that way. I'm gonna go for Hinderer, okay? Now, steels. Now let's see. Okay, blade shape. Let's go over blade shape first. Now, for those who are thinking, okay, this I have on my computer here a kind of blown up version of the Hinderer ZT collaboration, the ZT0560, and here is the normal Hinderer. Now, you might say to yourself, like, what it is first, I like that there's more cutting edge. They didn't do that little Hinderer, like they didn't do what Hinderer did and cut that out. It definitely makes it feel more like a knife. But you can see that the zero tolerance looks more, I guess you would say the blade looks more bulky, more fat. It definitely looks blade heavy. You can see that. I mean, they're almost identical in design. See that? Actually, they're very, very identical. So, let's go over here. So this is now blown up to where it'd be 3.75 inches. And go over here, you see. So, okay, there's a little bit increase. But you can see how much more belly there is to the knife. So, if you really can see it, go on your computer, look it up, and you can see that this blade has much more belly. Now, here's my little piece of paper that I cut, following the blade shape of the Hinderer. If you just do this and put it up next to it, if you can see the profile, see? There, that's your Hinderer. See it? Hard to do on this computer, but it's the same thing. They just gave you more belly, which I mean is definitely good for, like, long-term use of the knife and tactical use. I mean, it's the same thing. So consider that if you really want it to look the same, you can go in there and do that for use it up for a long time, and one day it'll look like your Hinderer. So that's very interesting to me. Now the steels, I'm gonna close these pictures here, okay? Finally, now we got these steels. Okay, so LMAX steel. Well, first of all, let me tell you something about ZT0560. Hinderer, he says he uses it. First, it's easy to machine, and second, he uses it because D2 is really low performing. And honestly, if you saw the charts on the metal, on my metal video, and you just Google it, D2 stats are below a lot of blade steels. But the thing is, ZT0560, you can see here. This is what Carpenter says. It's like a high hardness 440C. It says 62.5. Hinderer does around 60, I think 1 or something. And but it's more corrosion resistant because of what's in it than D2, and it has more edge retention. You see, 35 compared to 37 of D2. But then what that means is, nevertheless, you can see it's very similar to D2, and that's my experience with it too. Like I said, it's soft. It's a soft steel. It's not meant for it's not really it's nowhere near S90, or S110V. It's not a tool steel, way below M4. I mean, but that's, to each their own. If they like D2, it's like a classic steel that they've, people have used and I say grown up with, then, it's good. Now, definitely, if I had to, I would want S35 Hinderer. And that's where the blade steel of a Hinderer would win if you had the S35 version. Because now LMAX, here's LMAX composition, just let you see it. Primarily it's stainless. I mean, you got some carbon in there, not as much as S30, and that's toughness and whatever. And manganese and silicon are just there to remove oxygen out of the metal. Molybdenum's lower than S30, so you can't dry lubricate, and it has less what's it called, corrosion resistance and heat resistance. And then vanadium went down a little bit from S30. And here's the comparison between the two. So basically what it is it's a lower performing S30, but you get more corrosion resistant. And why that's a good thing still, though, is in tactical knives, you don't know what situations you'll be in, depending on where you would be deployed or what you're going to use it for and where you're taking the knife. You want that versatility. Perhaps you're in the tropical area, you're in a sandy, a salty area, in salty air and water, you need that corrosion resistance, and that goes in, again, to the tactical video, and that blade steels matter depending on what you're going to use the knife for. So, in this situation, LMAX is very versatile, but S35 is beefy. I'm still going to put a tie. Now, in the end, I hope this little video was helpful, but you can see how it stacks up. And in my opinion, I've never been a fan of zero tolerance per se, and I've never actually, I didn't really like the designs either. But I'll tell you the truth. Now looking at this, there's just a flat-out truth to this, And why it made me start to look at the zero tolerance version was just some of the flaws of the Hinderer, not so much the weight, because hey, and none fancy's always complaining about the weight. What is this? It's a knife. It's not a freaking tampon. You know what I mean? It's a tool. It's an important part of your kit. If it weighed a pound and it was a lightsaber, I wouldn't care. If it was a 20-pound lightsaber, I would take it. It's a lightsaber. It's a badass knife. You don't have you look at the performance. You don't have if you got a Bugatti Veyron, you wouldn't say, oh, it's too heavy. Well, it's the fastest car. Of course it's heavy. It's like a V whatever, I forgot, like 16 or something. It's worth it. But I mean, look at the difference though. 9-inch for the zero tolerance, 3.7-inch blade, and then yet look at the difference when you hit the 4-inch mark on Hinderer, 7.8 ounces. The titanium. This is smooth, slips around. Girl pockets, tighter pant pockets, which I'll talk about in terms of tactical pants and all that stuff. I would rather much any day have grip and know my knife isn't gonna fall in my pocket. And then look, clip sits on the bend to keep it in my pocket compared to clip sits on the disc. You know, both that aren't going to affect your deployment. You know, and you know, and heck, when you look at Trizula Tactical Knife Maker, you know, he knows what he's doing, and it's there too. The ball bearing system compared to Teflon's, gonna have to test. Screws, now like I said, hopefully zero tolerance screws are better quality. Gun code though at least is important. Torques, prefer that over using Hinderer's special tool any day, and along with not having to use two hands to take apart my knife. Forward pocket clip is cool, but I do like tactical pocket clip positions. And then you can see the steels. And I mean, so main thing is like on the Hinderer, you know, this detent is one of the dangerous things too. The detent's not good. I mean, here, if you can look, you see, that is really soft, and that's dangerous because, you know, it can easily come out. And then, you know, the purpose, of course, is so you can do that. But you see, you don't have to have a knife, you know, that has that problem. I mean, you can have this. You can have a knife like this, and there's no problem. But when you want to, oh, the wire ball. But regardless, you know, you can see that. I mean, that's good. I mean, that's done properly. Same thing with the Strider. My knife ain't falling out of the damn handle, but when I want to, bam. So, you know, I'm looking forward to the zero tolerance, and I hope you guys are too. And it's, you know, I'm interested to see what happens. You know, definitely now looking at it, the zero tolerance seems to be the superior knife, and in my opinion, I would go with that one. And I'm curious as to, you know, plus, you know, you saw the blade shape. I mean, if you're really interested in the way the Hinderer looks, you know, the other one, just wait till you use it a lot. It'll look good. It'll look like this. So, hope that was helpful. Thanks again. Any comments, especially if you guys know anything about that ball bearing system, let me know. I appreciate it. Thanks again.